All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Glad to be with you this morning and every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on our YouTube channel. It is Friday, April 12th, 2024, 9:01 Eastern Standard Time. Let's go ahead and get started with the session. We got some bank earnings coming in today. It is on our live market blog. Again, that is right here. Click on live market blog. You have Citibank's earnings report that came out. They beat on the top and bottom line. Same with JP Morgan, but then their stock fell. Wells Fargo, I have to take a look. They beat on the top and I believe on the bottom line as well. Revenue did beat. I'm trying to see about EPS. Don't have a number if that beat estimates. Let's see here. Okay, so Citibank did beat. Wells Fargo at least beat on the top line. JPM beat on the top line, and I believe on EPS as well. I didn't see any kind of miss, but their stock was down. So more earnings to come next week. We'll post that here on our uh, Twitter as well, Twitter account at Gar Capital. Earnings calendar as well. We'll go ahead and post it. So good stuff all around. All right, so Dow futures are down 313 points. The Nasdaq's down 1% after a nice boost yesterday. S&P 500 is down 0.84% at 51.99. Russell's down 0.76%. So let's go ahead and start with stocks. And let's go ahead and take a look at the hourly. And again, I drew a couple of trend lines. I know there's a lot of lines on the screen, but just bear with me. We'll go to the 4-hour chart to kind of give us a little bit of expansion here. You can see breakdown below this channel here, right? Now, the question is, does this trend line break? I say it does next week. I expect next week to be rather bullish. We're going into OPEX. But again, the question remains, how far can we go down in terms of the S&P? And right here is the 50-day, 51.52. As long as, well, 51.47. As long as that holds, I think it's still a buy the dip scenario in terms of equities. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Nasdaq is below the 20. We were just above it and closed above it yesterday, which was very bullish. But again, we had some earnings and some news regarding AMD and Intel that came out. That's very happy that we have Intel puts because that headline really helped. The headline here is, if I can find it, it was regarding China. Let's see. Okay, here. China MIIT tells telecom carriers to phase out foreign processors, including one made by AMD and Intel in networks by 2027. That's from the Wall Street Journal. And here's a quick note. As of 2023, China provided 27% of Intel's revenue and 15% of AMD's revenue. So again, I do have Intel puts running with the team. We are now below my initial alert, which was the lows, 37.01. So we should be able to catch that today, and I'm excited for that. So, I'm gonna cross my fingers. Last time I got too excited was Google, and it completely flipped on us, if you guys remember. Crude oil is up 2.25%. That's good for our Valero calls. They are up pre-market. Again, I will get Premium and Masterclass, all of our pre-market stuff to get started for the day, our pre-market report, excuse me. Gasoline futures are up 2% this morning. Talk about an Iranian attack on Israel. That's the headline coming out. Looks like it's imminent, maybe today. I don't know exactly. Obviously, that's going to, build up probably gold a little bit of fear out there. Crude oil. Yes, we talked about that Golden Cross. So we do have an oil company, Valero, long. So we'll see if crude oil continues to go higher. Silver futures. Now we're at SLV, new 52-week highs again, guys. I think we'll be in the money rather soon. So Intel and SLV, we wrap that up and include Google this week. That's 3 for 3. That's pretty good. Now we're talking 7 weeks in a row. We haven't had a losing trade in terms of option signals booked since February 23rd. It's been a while. Copper up to 1.94%. Dollar yen pulled back a little bit, 152.74, down 0.34%, even though the dollar is up 0.65% today. VIX is up 14%. Bitcoin, I expect that pop this weekend. Remember, the Bitcoin halving is coming next week. 34.97 on Ethereum as well. That's where we are this morning. I want to talk about Apple rather quickly. What a move yesterday and some AI headlines dealing with Max and their chips. Let's take a look at it together before anyone asks questions, because I'm sure that's going to be the big one. It is about Apple. So let's take a look at it. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. We rejected rather the 200 MA. We still have a downside. Is this that trend line? Let me see what trend line that is. Yeah, technically that is a trend line as well. So we're looking for 177 to break for continual upside. But man, this is a great headline that helped us. Masterclass got in it. We hit the 175 calls. That hit as much as 260% on the runner. I still have one runner going, but I do expect 177 to come next week. We need to break out and need a lot more. Apple is not dead. Let's see how the price action goes. Yes, we're pulling back quite a bit after some initial bank earnings, sure. And you can see 173.65 currently. Citibank is up pre-market. Masterclass has it. We were in the money. I think we're at the 62.50s. And you can see, at least after earnings, it is green when JPM is red this morning. So that's a good sign. I do expect us to get to 63.90. JPM pulls back. Again, it has been bought like crazy. Great bank to own. You're right at the 20. A pullback is definitely welcome and should be expected. I mean, Wells Fargo to breakout. Again, let's see if we test that 50-day at 54.56. That is down pre-market. So I still like the banks. You can see they're still profitable. Profitability is sinking a little bit. Trading revenues, at least for Citi, was pretty good. Jamie Dimon had some positive things to say about the economy. He did say some things regarding the consumer, that extra flush of cash from the pandemic, I guess. He said that's going away. Mind you, that was almost 4 years ago. So again, he sees different data that I can't, obviously. So, but at least Jamie Dimon is rather confident in the economy, but he says he sees cracks in the subprime auto division. So we'll keep an eye on, see what it is. At least used car prices are coming down in terms of inflation, anyways. The only thing that's really gone crazy in terms of inflation that's gone up has been auto insurance. That's the big one. All right, let's answer some questions. Good morning. Good morning. Can you look at NVIDIA and Apple options? All right, let's take a look at it. So Apple, I'm holding on to some calls that have been really beaten down. They don't mean it's dead. 174.14, like I stated. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Again, still need to break 177 so we can get to 182. And there's still a gap fill here at 186.71. Let's see NVIDIA. NVIDIA had quite the day yesterday as well, same as Apple. Still have this gap fill here around 825 or so. I'm hoping that we fill that, but we keep holding that 200 MA on the 4-hour. So again, I welcome a pullback. I don't know if we'll get it, but this is a name, in my opinion. NVIDIA is what Tesla used to be in 2001, where basically all the options world revolved around Tesla. NVIDIA has taken over everything. NVIDIA always has volume now. But the problem is IV, implied volatility, is basically juiced like there's earnings reports every day coming out. So it is rather expensive. Good morning. Good morning. Is it the day we break the record? Ooh, yes. The record he's speaking of is the trade streak of wins, signal wins. We're at 20. Let's see what the prime candidates are. SLV, we are now 20 cents, 25 cents away from in the money. We had the 27 calls. And that looks absolutely tasty, and I love it. So silver needs to keep going. We'll take a look here at silver futures to kind of give us a little bit of a view of how much we got to go. Oh, there goes crude oil. So you can see once it breaks 30, guys, we got a little bit more room for silver. So this will not be the last time that we play silver futures. Well, we didn't trade silver futures, SLV, excuse me. Silver futures can be a little wonky, but SLV, I like it with time. Again, if we break above 30, cross your fingers. We'll see where we go in terms of silver futures, excuse me, not SLV. Had one more thing here to look at. That was Intel. So Intel, again, breaking down, as you can see. And again, we talked about this setup here, the breakdown of this channel. Again, we're just continuing to fall exactly where we expected, right around 35, even as low as 32.5 being support. So again, you still see Intel pretty much a ugly chart. Even with that bounce yesterday, I wasn't really convinced. Intel looks pretty ugly. The only risk here is that if we move higher, there is a gap to fill at 39.71. But I think Intel has more room to the downside. So if you are an Intel shareholder, probably best to take some profits if you bought at the lows or something, at least for now. DraftKings. That is not a candidate to continue the streak. So we're at 20. If we get SLV and Intel, that would break the record. That would be 22. So DraftKings has been nothing but chop. The good news is that you do have a downside pattern that is ready to break out. And why do I say that? Because that's how we traded Apple. I told everyone on the blog, downside trend, breakout right at 170. So we'll go to the live market blog. Let me scroll up. Again, guys, if you're not part of the live market blog, you're really missing out because this was at 12:53 p.m. right here, 170.19. Great timing for that headline. First wave of M4 Max debut in late 2024. Apple plans to revamp the entire Mac line with AI-focused M4 chips. And what happens on that 1 hour chart? Whoop. And of course, we took advantage with Masterclass. I didn't want to double dip, but nice, 205. Yes, well, I had a runner, guys, so mind you, I made up for this right now. I still think 185s are coming back, but Masterclass made a little extra scratch. So well done to Masterclass on that Apple trade, but Live Market Blog had it too. You can see it there, 170.19. And then once the breakout happened, there you go, 173.31, just as expected. So we'll see if we get continuation. Apple looks like it still does want to continue higher. The question remains, can we get above 177? I think we do by next week. I'm expecting bullish next week. 3M double bottom. Let's see it. You got to get above right around $96, maybe $95 a share. But yeah, I can see what we're talking about. That double bottom there. Get above 96. You got 110 next as your resistance, at least on the chart. Let's take a look at good old Tesla. Good old choppy. Still above 160. Now at 172, it's down. Again, this is just chop paradise. Still got a gap to fill at 186.55. Until we get there, can't do much. And below 160, can't do much until we get there. So pretty much as choppy and neutral as it gets. A couple of here and there exciting days, but for the most part, nothing burger. And Palantir. Calls is the question. And same thing. You still have this resistance that we previous broke out of. That seems to be that support right around 22. But again, like Tesla, choppy. Not much going on. Granted, guys, let's take a look at something rather quickly. I want you to take a look at the volume bars. Again, pretty much downside action in terms of volume. Yes, CPI days, but yesterday, I mean, I thought we were going to have lower volume, and we did. But name like Apple soared. So obviously that had an elevated volume, but in terms of the S&P, pretty muted. I think next week is where we get some real action, and we have OPEX next week on Friday. So we'll see what we get. I'm excited for the day. Let's see if we get SLV. Let's see if we get Intel, and let's see if Apple gives us a little more. See what we can catch. Have a great rest of your morning, guys. I will see you guys this weekend for the recap of the week. We'll preview the next week. We'll take a look at the charts and see what's next, guys. We had a pretty great week, and we hope we can wrap it up in a nice bow and continue the streak going. So we'd love to have you with us. www.guard.capital for our services. Make sure to join us in our live market blog, and I will catch you on that video. Have a great rest of your morning. See you guys then. Cheers all.